In this video, I'll teach you how to set up your project for either printing or exporting to a PDF file. Yeah, I know it's kind of hard to believe, but in this day and age, there's still a lot of project managers who either need to print their project to paper or export it to a PDF file. I wish the process were as easy as displaying the Gantt chart view and then just hitting the print button, but no, that's not how it works. So what I'll do is I'll teach you the process for setting up your project so that whenever you print or export to PDF, you'll get consistent results. And as a bonus, if you stay with me to the end of the video, I'll also show you how to insert a manual page break similar to what you might do in Microsoft Word. So let's get started. Here's the process for setting up your project for printing or exporting to PDF. First, apply the Gantt chart view. Then, remove any columns you don't want to print and set your column widths appropriately. Third, position the split bar exactly where you want it to appear in the printout. Then, determine the number of columns that you want printed on every page. There's a little trick I need to show you on how to count up how many columns you do want to print. Step 5, go to the Page Setup dialog and set the number of columns you do want to print on every page. Step 6, set the level of zoom for the Gantt chart screen to the option I recommend, which is Entire Project. That will dramatically reduce the number of pages that are printed. Then examine the print preview to make sure it looks exactly the way you want it to look. Then you can return to the Page Setup dialog and set some additional printing options. I've got some recommendations for you that I think will help you with that. Next, do a test print or a test save to make sure that the printed document or the PDF looks exactly the way you want it. Now, if it doesn't, you'll have to do some tweaks to the steps I've given you previously. But if it looks good, then save the layout of your Gantt chart view, that custom layout, to its own custom printing view. And that's the view that you will use every time you're ready to print or save your project to a PDF. And then finally, you'll need to reset the Gantt chart view back to its original default settings. So let's go ahead and take a look now at how to apply this process to a real project. This is the project that I want to print. So let me show you how this process works. Step 1, apply the Gantt chart view. Done. Step 2, remove any columns you do not want to print and then set column widths. Well, I don't want to print the indicators column and the task mode column, so I'll select their column headers, right-click, hide column. Now let's go ahead and set some column widths here. So I want to narrow duration, start, and finish. There we go. Step 3, position the split bar where you want it to appear in the printout. So I want the split bar to be on the right edge of the finish column. Let me teach you a trick here. Drag the split bar so that it's over close to the column edge where you want to position it. Then do a double click on the split bar, and that will force it to dock on the right edge of the column in question. Step 4, this is the tricky one. Determine how many columns you want printed on each page. Well, that's not so hard. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 columns. That's what I want to print. Right? Wrong. We're forgetting a column. The ID numbers over here, they're actually a column too. So here's how many I really need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. Step 5, navigate to the View page of the Page Setup dialog. There's actually 2 ways to get there. I'll show you both of these. To go to the dialog the long way, click File, Print, and then on the Print page, clear down at the bottom here, hiding out in plain sight so nobody can find it, is the Page Setup link. So go ahead and click the Page Setup link to display the Page Setup dialog, and then click the View tab in the dialog. Up near the top of the dialog, notice there's this checkbox, Print First, and then you can dial in how many columns you want. And this is on all pages of the printout. That is literally what I want, so I want 5 columns to be on every page. Also, just for reference, notice there's a checkbox option here called Print Notes. If you select that checkbox and you have notes on one or more tasks in your project, Microsoft Project will add at least 1 additional page at the end of the printout that will include all of the notes in your project. If you have a lot of notes, it may take more than 1 page. Now, once you've got that done, go ahead and click the OK button so you can take a preliminary look at the print preview of your project. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Step 6, we need to set the level of zoom to entire project. So you'll need to get out of the print page, and you'll need to go to the View ribbon, where over on the right side in the Zoom section, you'll find a button called Entire Project. So I'll go ahead and click that. The reason I recommend you do this is to save the number of printed pages in either your printout or in your PDF. I just believe that is in your best interest, so I hope you'll agree with me on that. Then go ahead and examine Print Preview again. On my quick access toolbar, I've actually saved a couple of the printing related buttons. I've got a button for page setup, and I've got a button for the print page. I'd recommend, if you haven't done so already, look for my video about customizing the quick access toolbar. Then you can set up yours like mine. So I'm just going to click the print button, and that'll take me directly to the print page where I can see the print preview. Things are coming along very nicely. But now there's some more things I want to do. Number 1, this legend down here at the bottom, I do not want that. Not needed. I need to get rid of it. I see there's a nice footer at the bottom with page numbers. That's cool. Let's leave that there. But I'd really like a header up at the top that lists my name as the project manager over on the left side, and over on the right side, maybe today's date. So I need to get back to the page setup dialog again. So here we can go ahead and click Page Setup. Let me show you a few things about the page setup dialog that will benefit you. In the middle of the Page tab, you will see there's a section called Scaling. The Adjust to, by the way, is set to 100% of normal size. Well, when I look at this printout is too big. I'd like to scale it down. This is a feature you'll probably just need to experiment around with. So I think I'm going to try 75% just as a starter. So go ahead and pick whatever level of scaling you want, and then click the OK button, and the print preview will update. Oh, nice. We're getting somewhere. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to the dialog. There's also a Margins tab that you can click. This is where you get a 1/2 inch margin on every side. And there's also these grid lines or borders that are drawn around every page. When you look at my print preview here, you can actually see these grid lines on the outer edge. I kind of like those, but if you don't like those borders, just go ahead and click the None option. I'm going to leave those in place. There's a header page where you can set up a header. Well, I've already told you that I want a header at the top. When you go to set up either a header or footer, please notice that you can put information on the left side of the header, in the middle of the header or center, and on the right side as well. And what you can put in the header sections are either printed text or typed text that you might want, or built-in fields that are available down here at the bottom. So let me show you how to do each of these. All right, so in the left header, I want my name, Dale A. Howard, Project Manager. And by the way, there's an option. I can change the font size, and so forth. I'm going to leave that up to you. So on the left header, I want my name. On the right header, I'd like today's date, but I want this to generate automatically. So here's how to get that. I'm going to click the General Pick List button, and I'll go down here to the bottom where there's an option called System Date, and I'll select it. And then I have to click the Add button to actually add it into the header area. So here up at the top, you see a print preview of what my header will look like. Dale A. Howard, Project Manager, and there's today's date. If you want, you can do something similar with the footer. I like the footer the way it's already set up. It's got the word page plus the field and % page. It's just going to automatically calculate the page number down here at the bottom of the printout. So that's a good thing. Now, last item of business, that legend, I don't like the legend. It's taking up too much space on every page. So if you don't like the legend, then select the option called None, and then click OK to see an updated print preview. Oh, sweet. I like that. Step 9. Do a test print or test save to PDF. Now, it isn't going to do me any good in this video to print it because you won't see my paper printout. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to export it to a PDF file, and then I'll show you the PDF. So here we go. And I'm going to save this on the desktop so I can get to it real easy. So we'll click OK. We'll click OK. It's rendering the PDF. Remember the truth, it's printing to the PDF file. We'll go to the desktop. Let's open this file and let's close the right side. There it is. There's my printout. This is how it would look on paper. Oh, wow. This is beautiful. Now, it is 9 pages. You can see that. You know, when I look at the words and everything, it's still pretty big. You know, I could probably drop the scaling back to 50, 60%. So what I'll encourage you to do is to experiment with the scaling options until you get the print size exactly the way you want it so people can actually read your paper printout or your PDF document. All right, so let's get back now to Microsoft Project. Step 10. Save the layout of the Gantt chart view as a custom printing view. Ladies and gentlemen, this is very cool. Here's what I want you to know. This customized Gantt chart view, I can actually save it as its own custom printing view. So anytime I want to print, I just bring up the view and I just hit print, and I'm in business. Here's how to save the customized Gantt chart arrangement as a custom view. And by the way, when I say arrangement, what I mean is the exact columns on the left, the column widths, the way I've set them, the level of zoom on the right side in the Gantt chart screen, also the scaling, the custom header, the custom footer, the lack of the legend, and the print exactly 5 columns on every page. All of that is saved in the custom view. To do that, you need to click on any view button. So for example, I'm on the view ribbon right now. So if I click the Gantt chart pick list button, I want you to see there's an option called Save View. That's the option you're going to pick. But let me show you, it's everywhere on every view pick list. So on the Team Planner pick list, on the resource ribbon, there it is down there, Save View. If I go to the task ribbon, the Gantt chart pick list button, there it is down here at the bottom, Save View. So choose the Save View option on any one of those print pick list buttons and put in the name of your custom view. Now, I want this to really stick out as a custom view, so I'm going to start the name with an underscore character to force it to the top of the list. And I'm going to give it an insanely simple name. I'm going to call it Print View. So when I click OK, Microsoft Project will sit and spin for a moment, and here's what it did. It saved this new custom view in this project. So over here on the left side of the screen, over here in what's called the view bar, you can see the print view is now currently displayed. And in fact, if I click the Gantt chart pick list button, see there, the print view is currently being displayed. But folks, wait, there's more, and it's even cooler. A default setting in Microsoft Project will not only save your custom view in the project in which you created it, it will also save it to your global.mpt file so that it will be available in every project you open from this point forward. Let me show you where it is. So if I click File, Info, Organizer, everything we see listed on the left side is found in the global.mpt file, which will make these objects available to every project I open from this point forward. Look at what's at the top of the list. There's that special print view. Also do know that the print view includes the table or set of columns that we arranged with their column widths. So notice at the top of the tables list, there it is, but it's given the name Print View Table, and that's just fine. That's not a problem. All right, now let me get out of this dialog, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to create a new blank project, and I want to show you I'm not making this up. If I go to the Gantt chart pick list button in this brand new project, there it is. There's the print view right at the top. So every project that I create or open from this point forward, that special print view is going to be there. Step 11. This is a really important step. The Gantt chart view, I messed with it royally. I removed columns, I changed column widths, I changed the zoom, I changed the header, the footer, the legend. I changed all these default settings for the Gantt chart view. Step 11 is I need to reset the Gantt chart view back to its default settings. Here's how to do that. First, click the Gantt chart pick list button and return to the Gantt chart view. Now what you're going to see is the customized Gantt chart view that needs to be reset to its default. It is so easy to reset it to its default. Here's how. Click the Gantt chart pick List button again, go clear down to the bottom of the menu where you'll find an option called Reset to Default. When you choose that, you'll get a warning that all the customization you did to the Gantt chart is going to be reset to its original default settings. That's fine. That is exactly what we want. So I'll click the Yes button. Now, Microsoft Project will go through its gyrations of resetting back to default. You'll almost always need to widen the task name column. You almost always need to scroll your Gantt bars into view. But there it is. There is the original Gantt chart view in all of its glory. Then be sure and save your project at this point. So that's the initial process that you go through to set up a special printing view that you can use every time to either print your project or save it to a PDF. Oh, wow, you stayed with me all the way to the end of this long video. My friend, I am grateful for that. As a bonus, I want to now show you how to insert a manual page break into your project for printing the way you could do in Microsoft Word. Before we do that, however, I need to go back to my special print view, and I need to take a look at Print Preview to see, do I actually need a manual page break anywhere? Well, page 1, yep, everything looks good. Let's go down to page 2. Okay, it's looking good. Whoops, wait a minute. Task number 81, post-implementation review. That really should be forced over to the top of the next page. So I do need to insert a manual page break where task number 81 is currently located. All right, so let's get out of the print page. I have some bad news for you, but also some very good news. The bad news is there's no keyboard shortcut to insert a manual page break. But the good news is this: we can insert a button on our little quick access toolbar that will insert a manual page break, and then we can just insert them wherever we need them whenever we want them. So here's how to do that. Click the File tab, then click the Options tab in the Backstage, and in the Project Options dialog, click Quick Access Toolbar. At the top of the page, click the Choose Commands from Pick List and choose the item called All Commands. When you see all of the commands, navigate to the section that begins with the letter I. And what you're looking for is the command called Insert Page Break. Select that option on the left. Over on the right, select the button below which you want to insert the new button, and then click the Add button. So you'll notice I've got this little print section here, so that's the perfect place to put in Insert Page Break. When finished, click the OK button. Then, in your project, scroll to the task row where you want to insert the manual page break. For me, you saw it was task number 81. I'll select that task, and then all I need to do is click the button, Insert Page Break. When I click away from the task, you can see there's this grid line running across the top of the task name. That is the manual page break. So now, let's go see, did it really work? So we'll go back to the print page. And let's look at our print preview. Page 1 still looks good. Page 2, sure enough, the last task is number 80. And we go to page 3, and there it is right at the top of the page, task number 81. The manual page break worked as intended. So there you have it, the bonus, how to insert a manual page break in your Microsoft project schedule for printing. There you have it. That's how to set up your project for either printing or exporting to a PDF file. I sure hope this video was beneficial to you. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, click that notifications button, share the video with your friends and colleagues. If you have questions or comments, be sure and add them in the comment section down below. And as always, I'll see you in my next video.